couple of homes burned at the entrance of our neighborhood, those 4, and I feel so bad for them because the rest of the neighborhood survived, except those 4. And strangely, just one house in the middle of our street burned. I don't know how that. It's just like bad luck, right? It's like everyone else survived except this one. And the elderly couple who lives in that home also had 2 rental homes in the Alphabets and lost those 2. So they lost all 3. Look at this. You can see clear through to the hills because it's just home after home after home gone. Friend who fled the Ayatollah in Persia and Iran, and he says this looks worse than that. Stayed and saved their building. This was a FedEx next to a barber salon, next to a clothing store. This is where this is where it was. Wait till you see the neighborhood. There's this area called Alphabet Street. It's like every single home is burned down, every single one. It's really crazy.
How are you? Nice to see you.
Have you been up here?
Yeah.
Can you just introduce yourself real quick?
Yeah.
And what your business is about?
Yeah, so my name is Jaron. I had a business right there. It was called Forge Makerspace, so it was an engineering workshop specifically for kids. I started it about a year and a half ago now, so we opened November 2023. Yeah, as of a month ago, it burnt down. I studied mechanical engineering, and then I spent a year working at Tesla. The word makerspace means an engineering workshop, and a lot of college campuses have them, and it's a place where you can go and you get access to tools and you can just work on your own project. And it's something that, at least for me, I never got access to until I went to college. Like, I never used a 3D printer or laser cutter until I was 18 years old. But the only reason for that is because they're big, expensive tools. It's not like they're super hard to use. There's like a lot that kids can do with them, and they learn very quickly. It honestly is hitting me a little more this time because I was here before at a point when the fires were still going on, and I don't think I really processed it at that time because, I don't know, there was a lot going on, and I just needed to like know if it was there or not. Because it was funny, everyone was asking me, like, is the business okay? And for most of like Tuesday night, I was like, it's gonna be totally fine. Right. And then as all the reports started coming in and the fire map was updating, it kept looking more and more like it wasn't going to be okay. Business was my full-time job. Yeah. So all of a sudden I was without a job, which is very weird. Or I thought I was unsure if if it was there or not anymore.
At that time, were you able to take some of your inventory out, or what were you able to do that day? And what did you
Your 3D printer.
Yeah, what happened?
So when I came in on Wednesday, so the fire was Tuesday night or Tuesday day and night. When I came in on Wednesday, the front of the building was still up, which was an art gallery and an interior design studio, but the back of the building was completely burnt down. So none of our stuff survived, and I wasn't even gonna go venture. I walked there, we had a little like alleyway right here that you walked through and you got into a courtyard. Yeah. And so I walked in just to see the back of the building, but it was rubble. There was nothing we could have salvaged. And so the building was kind of still smoking at that point. And so then I guess the front burnt down Wednesday night.
I don't think anyone knew.
Yeah.
But I think by about 1, there were already a lot of houses on fire. We just didn't know.
We had no clue.
We had no clue. So a lot of people left thinking, me too. Like, there's no way that fire is going to come all the way over here.
No way. Yeah, I think a lot of people didn't take valuables.
No, they didn't.
Because they really had no idea, yeah. And the same with us. We would have put a bunch of computers and 3D printers and stuff in my car because we could have. We had the time, but no, it wasn't even a thought in my mind.
How much would you say was worth inside your building that you lost?
We lost about $50,000 worth of equipment from what I could tally up. There's a lot of little things, which is funny because my insurance company, we had a $5,000 limit on our policy. So
That was it. That's the max.
That was all we got. Yeah, we didn't have specific insurance for the fire. We had a general liability insurance policy. Yeah, it was about $50,000 worth of stuff. Good thing is we had the GoFundMe, which was really awesome, and thank you, of course. And then there's some grants that we're getting. There's like an SBA. They're doing 0% interest for loans. Like there's a lot of good help out there, and it's weird for me because, yes, I had a business and I lost a lot. But every single family, or like 95% of the families I worked with, lost their whole homes and like all of their belongings. So it feels weird for me to be like, I lost so much, because so many people lost so much more.
No, but don't discredit yourself, because what Julia and I were talking about, we focus on so much of the homes built or burning down and how much they've lost, but a business is your livelihood. You gave up, I guess, your 9 to 5 as an engineer to build something on your own. You invested your time, your energy, your resources to build something up only a year and a half ago, and to see it, you know, just burn down into pieces, and you have to start all over again, right?
And to build something for the community.
Right.
Like you, with all the schools that are nearby and giving children access to a space like this was really important. So it's a business, but it was also part of the community. And I think everyone's story is important. You know, if we start comparing losses, there would be really no end to it, because you look all around you and over 8,000 structures burned. Like, how can you compare? But I think every story is important. Panning over Via de la Paz, and he caught glimpse of the boba statue, he immediately started bawling, just crying. And he said, Forge Maker Space is right next door. And does that mean Geron's space is gone? And does that mean Forge Maker Space is gone? So, you know, to you, it's a business. As a young man, you know, starting any business is hard, but it impacted, I'm sure, all of the children that you've made an impression on. And, you know, you may be creating future engineers. For him, that was his first response to the fire, was realizing that this special place was gone. And so many businesses, right, where all our memories, Palisadians have memories in all these businesses. And so that really hit me. And it made me sad for everyone that's, the losses on so many levels.
I'm glad that you mentioned that you saw it and the kids saw it as a community, because that was part of my goal. I don't think I really fully realized it until I saw kids in there making new friends and being like, hey, you want to build this together with someone they didn't know, and giving each other ideas and stuff like that. But that was amazing to see.
And he would tell me, like, his favorite thing was to do your camps, like to come here and just spend hours and hours. So what made you leave Tesla, like these big, seemingly stable jobs, right?
Yeah. Growing up doing all these projects, I had an idea in my head of what engineering was. And for me, it was just working with my hands and putting things together and seeing this very like physical, real output. Because I would build like electric skateboards and electric scooters and drones and stuff like that. And it was very tangible stuff. And parts of engineering at Tesla was like that. I did get to be very hands-on in some ways and do tests, but most of it was on a computer and just doing what's called CAD, like 3D modeling, and just a lot of sitting. And that's not me. I'm very like, need to be up, need to be active. It's not like I had a bad time there. I thought it was a really, really cool company, and they had so much going on, and I was so lucky to get to see it. But I've always been a little just like entrepreneurial, I guess. My parents wouldn't really give me money for any projects, so I started doing tutoring to make money to pay for them. So in like, I think it was like 7th or 8th grade, I remember putting up some signs outside our local library, like tutoring $10 an hour or whatever. And I got one client. I would be in the library tutoring, other people would watch me teaching this kid, and they would go, oh my God, I love the way you teach. Can you teach my kid as well? And so by the time I was in like junior year of high school, I was tutoring every single day after school, sometimes for like multiple kids. I already, I guess, had that mind of like, if I want to do something, I can do it. I'd never started a real business before. During COVID, so like it was my sophomore year of college, I was living at home at this time, and some of the parents that I had tutored when I was in high school and they knew I was an engineer in college asked me if I could do engineering projects with their kids. And so that's kind of how this started. Exactly, yeah.
Oh, interesting.
So I started doing these projects with like all different ages. It was some elementary school kids, some middle school kids, and I just had a big tote full of tools and I would lug it to their house and we would build things. We'd build a go-kart or a potato cannon or learn Arduino and coding, stuff like that. And that started with one kid and just kind of like exploded.
If it's not too personal, how much money did you have to put in the beginning?
Yeah.
And I know you were only in business for about a year and a half, and it takes a little bit to break even and whatnot. Was there a certain amount that estimate that you lost?
So when I started the business, I think I'd saved about, it was like $40,000 or $50,000.
Okay, which is a lot when you're 21, right?
So yeah, I'd saved that from Tesla and from working in college
Right.
and working with tutoring and stuff like that. So I took pretty much all of that and dumped it into this. Because I was so young when we got the lease, they wanted me to pay like 6 months of rent up front. And then we had to get all the tools. And I'm like, there was a lot of stuff I was like, I just have to get this $5,000 laser cutter. Like, we don't really have a choice. And at that point, I was also working a part-time job, which was
so
good. So
doubling
that helped a little bit. Yeah, for the first like 4-ish months of the business when we weren't making a huge amount of money, that was really, really helpful. Over the next year and a half, we accumulated some more stuff. So the first $50,000 I put into it, maybe 20 was for the lease and then 30 was for the tools, but we just started accumulating more and more things. And so of all the equipment we lost, it was about $50,000 in the fire.
Yeah, what I want to highlight also is because from an outside perspective who does not know about the Palisades, we just assume that, oh, these people are rich, these houses, it's their second home, third home, whatever, right? But we forget to think about stories like that where you worked so hard, you went to college, you became an engineer, and you saved up so much money to open your first baby, right? This is your first project, and then unfortunately, it goes down to pieces, and this is what it looks like now. But you are trying to open a second one now, right?
Yes.
In Santa Monica?
Well, we have already opened a second one. Actually.
Oh, it's already open.
Yeah,
So you're already on top
as of 3 weeks ago.
Okay.
The second the fire happened, I mean, there was a day or two where I was like, okay, well, what do I do now? I never got to take a Europe trip or do all that thing everyone does after college. Like, should I just go and travel the world and
You have to sacrifice
say,
all
screw
that
it,
for this.
Yeah. When the fire happened, I just instantly started looking for more spaces in Santa Monica. We were actually about to sign a lease for this space on Montana in Santa Monica because I really wanted to be like on the north side of town near a couple schools. But it was a small space and it was very expensive, like per square foot. And a mom called me, or just, it was a random number, and it ended up being a mom that I'd never met before, but she had been told about us from another parent that their kids had come to our space. And she was like, we're landlords, we have a bunch of properties, come today, come see, like we have some space in our building. They had like half of the building that just wasn't being used, so they were like, we'll sign something month to month, just use it, get your classes going as quickly as possible. Yeah.
It's the community coming together.
Exactly.
But the beauty also is that your space is very close to the kids who were displaced, if you want to tell us about that.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, pretty much every private school in the Palisades burnt down, and there's a lot of private schools in the Palisades. So 3 of them moved just like a block away from where we are now. 2 of them, so I think it's St. Matthew's and Calvary Christian are in the Water Garden in Santa Monica, and then Village School is in the Colorado Center, which is just a block away from that.
Just incredible to bring some normalcy too for the kids that were coming to Forge Makerspace.
And it's a crazy coincidence.
It is a crazy coincidence. Yeah, it almost feels like you planned that and you didn't.
There have been a lot of weird things throughout the journey of this business that have kind of felt like that. And more over the last 2 years, I've started to realize that everything does kind of happen for a reason, or like if it's meant to be, it will happen. I don't know. If something is meant to be, I think if you put in the work and the effort, it happens.
But that's not to say, as a young entrepreneur, there's so many financial needs, and you've given so much to the community. As an entrepreneur and a business owner in LA, it was important for us to support you specifically because of the impact you've made in our son's life. And so we're happy to give you some more money. This time we did donate some personally, but
Julie has already donated to you prior to this, but through my channel and my followers, and including Julie's, we want to create another GoFundMe, and I know Julie had offered to donate a certain amount, so we'll add that to there, and hopefully the people who are watching get to hear your story. It does sound like you're onto a good transition, but at the same time, it's not easy. This is very tough. You've probably lost way more than what it sounds like you're a very positive person, so
I try to be. I don't know any other way to be.
Exactly.
Right? Like the other way is just giving up.
Right.
And I'm not going to do that.
It sounds like you're upgrading and whatnot, but in the end, like the process was very, very tough. What you had to go through, and financially, I know it was tough too. So we want to come together and support your needs in that way. We don't know how much it's gonna, gather, but we do want to open it up for our community to be part of this journey. There's a lot of people who have good hearts where they're looking for ways to donate, and this is actually a really good cause. It's for the future, for kids, it's for you as a young entrepreneur to continue this entrepreneurship and help our community, our society, and everything, So we want to be part of that journey as well with you. And so I'll
really
put of course. Thanks to Julie too. She's an amazing person.
I mentioned this in the first part of the podcast. Giving even just a little bit of money, your $5 or $10. Sometimes when I see GoFundMe links, I'm thinking, what's 5 or 10 going to do? But every little bit you give is also your own personal healing, because in the midst of all of this devastation, it heals a little bit of myself to know that I'm helping a little bit. So it goes both ways. It's like, what can I do? And you can do so much just by giving a little bit. So I really encourage you to support Jaron, who, as a young entrepreneur, I don't know how you're still standing here smiling. I would have probably been in the
I'd be crying.
I had my days.
Yeah, and not being able to get out of bed, especially being young, and it's a ton of money. But yeah, if we can support him as a community, it's healing together, which is what I love. I was saying to Aiden at the last podcast, I said, you could have Bill Gates come in here and just give everyone $1 billion and we're all good. But there's a beauty in community support and receiving that money and knowing that there are all these people out there cheering you on.
There's been a silver lining to this.
Warmth to it.
No, I've totally felt that, of just that community support and outreach from every email from parents. Even if it's like, wow, I'm so devastated for you. We also lost our home. But it's just like we all realize how important that community is.
And we trust that you're gonna build that community for the future as well through this. So.
That's the goal. Every bit of money will go back to that.
So we'll put your new location in the link. We'll put your GoFundMe in the link so people could get to that easily. It's crazy to be right here, just talking in front of your memories and your hard work.
Thank you so much. I appreciate everything. Thank you.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, this was awesome.
Oh, nice face, man. Thank you. Nice to see you. Oh, that's nice. This is Cassidy. Hi, Cassidy. Nice to meet you. Operations are ready.
Yes. Yeah, they come either 2 or 3 far past what we ever did in the Palisades.
Oh, yeah?
Well, our space was so tiny that we couldn't fit them.
What's the ratio like? You guys had like maybe under 10 before, or
we would 15 was about 15? The max we would have in there.
Congrats, you're doing much better.
Exactly, yeah. We can fit a lot more in here.
I won't waste too much of your time.
Take as much time as you need.
It's all good. So these are the 3D? What are the 3D printers?
These are 5 3D printers. We just got 2 more actually, because they're pretty much always running when the kids are in here.
Yeah, I'm glad you're back on your feet. Upgraded with more stuff, more people, more customers. That's awesome.
Totally, it's been really great.
Well, today I just came to give you the check that some of our followers, community, we raised. 5,620.
Thank you so much.
Hopefully it could help a little bit. Here you go.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. This is amazing.
And hopefully,
you guys are so great.
Yeah, I mean, this is amazing. You're doing well. You're doing great work for the community. I'm sure the kids will love it here. It was like my science class again.
That's what we're going for. You come in here and you just immediately know where you are. You're in a workshop. Thanks.
Here's the sign.
Oh, you're right.
I got the sign. I actually went back because when we were there and we saw it, I forgot to grab it.
I'm gonna reach out to the owner.
You just brought it?
Well, the thing is, they're just clearing all the rubble.
Yeah,
And you don't know when they would have just thrown it away. And so I actually went in. When I went back to get the sign, I went into my actual where my space was. And I was like, I wonder if there's anything I can see. And you could see the makeup of a laser cutter. You could kind of see the toolbox a little bit, and you could see some of these table legs, but everything else was gone. Somehow, our sign half survived. So I think we have to put it up on the wall or something.
That's a good.
So it's pretty cool, right? Because it's stuff like this that actually, kids could and do.
That's good.
So this top part, all the text on the top yellow?
Yeah.
Okay, and then the bottom, what color?
Black.
Black.
Yeah, that looks
Any
great.
changes we need to make?
No.
No? Okay. So then this is easy. On your
Okay.
text.
Sounds good, man. Thanks for your time.
This is awesome. Thank you.